So I'm here in Sapa, Vietnam, and a few days ago I went trekking for the very first time. Now, I had no clue trekking was completely different from hiking. I have done hiking plenty of times, but trekking is something that you really have to be prepared for. If you have no clue what trekking is, I'm going to give you the rundown on everything you need, what to bring, what not to do, and what to prepare for physically. When I booked this trekking experience, there were three options. There was easy, medium, and hard. Easy was, I think, 2 to 3 hours. Medium was 4 to 5 hours, and hard was 7 to 8 hours. Now, when I booked this over the phone, I initially thought I booked medium, but there was a bit of miscommunication, and I ended up spending 8 hours trekking through the bamboo forest and the mountains. I was so not prepared. So this is what you need to know before doing your first trekking experience. Bring proper shoes. The shoes that I had were just some regular Nike shoes. The grip at the bottom was not that great. It was very slippery. I fell not once, but twice. And when you're trekking, especially in the mountains of Vietnam, I mean, there's water, there's rainfall, so there's lots of mud. And mud is almost like, when wet, it's almost like sliding on ice. One step, you're like on your back. And thank God I was able to catch myself with my hand. I have pretty good like core strength, so that was really, really important. I highly suggest buying a pair of boots that have very good grip, and also the locals in the community, they wear rain boots, and I can see exactly why, because you can step in a mud puddle that might not look like it's pretty deep, but once you step in it, you're going down. So if you could bring a pair of rain boots, I highly suggest buying a pair of rain boots or some boots specifically made for mountain hiking. Wear your sunscreen. I definitely slathered on a lot of sunscreen on my face just so I would not get burned in the sun. In Sapa, I mean, you really can't determine where the sun is when you're in the mountains, because there's clouds, there's trees, there's so much greenery over your head. You honestly can't really tell, like, okay, where's the sun, but you can feel the heat. So definitely apply sunscreen or you'll be very, very burnt. Wear long socks. I brought compression socks with me, the socks that I wore. They came all the way to my knees, which was very great because I had socks all the way to my knees and tights on. As you're going through like different types of environments, like with rocks and bugs and bushes, you definitely want to make sure you're protected so you won't be like eaten alive by any bugs. I didn't get bit not one time, and I'm a person who usually like suffers from like a bunch of mosquito bites like all the time. Not one mosquito bite. And that's also because I did wear a long sleeve linen shirt on top of my tank top. Now you can trek with just a tank top, but I would not suggest that because, like I said before, different types of bugs. You don't want to brush up against anything, get bitten by anything. It can turn out pretty bad for you. So although you might be a little bit more hot, what's better, being more hot or like, having an arm full of like bug bite? By the end of my trekking, my shirt was like see-through. Like my linen shirt was soaked, my tank top was soaked, my sports bra was soaked. I was just like completely soaked in like sweat, but it was very beneficial to me because I didn't get bit. So I'm not gonna complain. Like I have not one mosquito bite, and I thought like I was gonna come up with so many different mosquito bites, but not one. The last time you went to the gym was 5-6 months ago or a year ago. Choose easy. I am a person who goes to the gym every single day. I haven't skipped a day in a very long time, since the beginning of this year. Hard was hard for me. you have to do a lot of cardio. If you want to try the hard version of the trekking, I highly, highly, highly listen to me when I say this. Get on the Stairmaster and stay on the Stairmaster for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, because imagine being on the Stairmaster for 8 hours. That's how you're gonna feel, because it's a consistent like up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm like, oh my God. And the people in the village were like doing this with like no problem. I'm not being dramatic, because it's like, if you know the mountains have no flat. That doesn't exist. Everything is just up. And then in the forest, it's like rocks, holes, puddles. I'm like jumping over what I felt like cliffs. It was so much. So get in the gym, if you are preparing to go 8 hours of trekking in like the next few months, start now every day getting on the Stairmaster. And I'm saying the Stairmaster because it is going to mimic the most mountainous terrain as far as like preparing you to go through the mountain. Don't get me wrong, there are some intense hikes out there. I mean, people do it all the time, but I feel like trekking is almost like a free climb situation, because at least for trekking in Vietnam and in Sapa, I felt like there was no straightaway path. It was like, okay, we're climbing up this rock to this mountain. This is where we're going, and get ready to go here. Now we're gonna go down this hole into this forest. That's exactly how it was. So it's something that you really, 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 really have to prepare yourself for. I thought I was prepared, but I was not. I was definitely not. So I highly recommend preparing. Girl, guy, get on that Stairmaster. Do not overpack. You don't need to pack so many different things with you. Before you do decide to go trekking, the only thing that you need is a bottle of water for each hour. I wish I had 8 bottles of water. That felt more better. I had 1 bottle of water for 8 hours of trekking. So I don't know how that happened. And it was like one small, like a regular 8-ounce bottle. So I would say if you can hold on to 8 bottles of water, hold on to 8 bottles of water. So 8 bottles of water for each hour of trekking. Some people might say that's kind of like dramatic. Listen to me. If you're gonna do it, bring a bottle of water for each hour. That way you won't exhaust yourself, because I felt like I had to spread out that 1 bottle of water for 8 hours on the Stairmaster. That is insane. So definitely bring 1 bottle of water for each hour of trekking. You will feel so much better. You will thank me later. Lastly, if you are thinking of doing 8 hours of trekking, make sure you are mentally prepared. And what do I mean by mentally prepared? The only reason that I didn't give up at, I would say, hour 4, because I thought that I had booked 4 hours. The only reason I didn't give up because 1, I was in the middle of the forest, and 2, there was no other option for me to give up. I couldn't turn around because that's 4 hours back. The only option was to keep going. So you have to be mentally prepared. So know that you are going to fight yourself every step of the way while you're doing it, but also enjoy it, take it in, and know that there is an end.